uplands of northern England can be rather bleak at times, but nevertheless are always beautiful and often fascinating, with a rich history. One example of a settlement with such charms is that of Bowes, just off the A66, which has its own castle. The castle you see around me here, Bowes Castle, is early medieval, meant to protect north of England and the corridors going north from invading Scots. But a long time before that there was another fortress here built by the Romans. The old Roman name, or Latin name for Bowes, was lavatory. Called so perhaps because there were baths here, bathhouses that were on a summit. And the remains of the Roman fortress are around here and on this very site itself. Again, it was meant to project power into the north of what is now England, and to protect parts of the country from marauders from the north. The Romans themselves eventually were besieged, and there is a legend from this place that some of the Roman soldiers actually stole a lot of valuables, jewels and fineries and the like, and secreted them somewhere about these premises. But before they had a chance to escape with their ill-gotten gains, the besiegers managed to overwhelm them, and they were defeated. So who knows, could be that there are secrets lying here still to this day. But people do say that they have seen the ghosts of Romans about these premises. You see the stairs over there. They've been seen coming down those stairs, and also outside the building as well, particularly on summer's nights. So this delightful village of Bowes in what is traditional North Riding of Yorkshire has many intriguing buildings, one of which is the one you see here, the ancient Unicorn pub. This haunted building has many tragic tales to tell. Formerly known as the George Inn, the ancient Unicorn played host to the author Charles Dickens as he was touring around the region. In the churchyard of St Giles, just along the street, is the grave of one George Ashton Taylor, who died in 1822, aged 19, and is said to have inspired Dickens to conceive the character of Smike in his novel Nicholas Nickleby. However, as I intimated earlier, the Unicorn has a collection of ghostly stories to tell. In the cellars of the building, staff have seen a boy of about 12 years old wandering around and hiding. No one knows who he is, but when approached or spoken to, he disappears into the shadows. Customers of the pub have often witnessed a ghostly bearded man in a hat, a bowler hat rather than a top hat, I hasten to add. He shuffles through the bar or sometimes the upper corridors of the premises, carrying on with some untold business of his own. Nowadays, the Unicorn is the only pub in the village, but that was not always the case. Back in the early 1700s, when it was the George, there was a rival, the King's Head. To put it mildly, the proprietors of these respective establishments did not get along. Despite the animosity, it would seem that the younger members of the family did get along. Young Roger Railton and Martha Wrightson became very close and engaged in a relationship reminiscent of Romeo and Juliet, very much against the protestations of their parents. Their meetings were always in secret, often in the aforementioned graveyard of St Giles. However, in 1713, on Shrove Tuesday, tragedy befell the pair when Roger was brought low by a terrible fever. At first, he's pleased to see his beloved Martha were rebuffed by both sets of parents, but eventually things became so serious that they relented and she was allowed to visit. Only 3 days later, the lad passed away. What is more, poor Martha was so distressed that she too died not long after from a broken heart, it is said. In the years after, the two became immortalised in both a ballad called Edwin and Emma and in the poem Beau's Tragedy. Nowadays, the couple are sometimes referred to by locals as Edwin and Emma, after the pseudonyms from a ballad. They are often seen haunting the St Giles graveyard, the very place where they engaged in their romantic trysts. Together once again.